He goes to the hospital. Jane Curith, illustrated by Tawny. Tiggy was taking her brand new carriage for a walk along the garden path when she saw her friend Tracy at the gate. She was so eager to show Tracy her carriage that she forgot to keep a firm hold on it. The carriage began to run away. It ran into the road, under the wheels of Mr. Weasel's truck. Tiggy ran after her new carriage. She ran into the road, and Mr. Weasel's truck gave her a nasty bump. What did Tiggy not do? What could Tiggy have done to be more safe? Poor Mr. Weasel was very upset. "I'll call the ambulance," he said to Tiggy's mother. The ambulance came at once, and the kind ambulance man lifted Tiggy inside. "Don't cry, Tiggy," he said. "Your mommy can ride with you in the ambulance." Tiggy's friend Tracy wished she could ride in the ambulance too. Tiggy wanted to be brave as she lay quiet still under the warm red blanket. "Where are you going, Mommy?" she asked. "What about my new carriage?" "We're going to the hospital," said Mommy. "Don't cry." When they reached the hospital, Tiggy whispered to one of the nurses that her leg was hurting. "Don't worry," said the smiling nurse. "We shall soon know what the trouble is." And Tiggy found herself being pushed along the wide corridor towards the X-ray department. "X-rays are just magic pictures," Tiggy told the nurse when she was tucked in bed in the children's ward. "They don't hurt at all. And this doesn't hurt either," said the nurse. "Let me have your arm, Tiggy. I want to take your blood pressure. Come along. That's a good girl." Tiggy was frightened of the strange machine. She didn't want her blood pressure taken. So she pulled the sheet right up to her nose. "Why, there's nothing to be scared of," said the nurse. And little Sophie in the next bed nodded her head and looked at Tiggy in great surprise. Have you ever had your blood pressure taken? The nurse was too busy to spend any more time with Tiggy. She moved along to the next bed. Tiggy peeped out from underneath the covers and watched her. "You don't mind if I take your blood pressure," she said to Sophie. "Let me have your arm." "Of course I don't mind," said little Sophie. "I'm not afraid like some people." "I'm not afraid," Tiggy thought. "Not really." Tiggy was wishing the nurse would come back when in came a volunteer with a cart full of toys, boards, books, and games. "I'm going to let the nurse take my blood pressure," Tiggy told her as she chose a game. "I'm glad to hear it," said the volunteer. "Then she will know you're getting better." The next day, the doctor came in to see Tiggy. He told her that the magic X-ray picture showed her leg was not broken. "Your nasty bump will soon disappear, and you can go home today." In the afternoon, Mommy came into the ward with some fresh clothes for Tiggy. The nurse lifted her down from the high bed. "We shall miss you," she said. "And I shall miss all of you," laughed Tiggy. Daddy and Tracy were waiting at the door to welcome Tiggy home. Tiggy was so excited that she wanted to run all the way to the door, but Mommy kept hold of her hand. Soon Tiggy was in the kitchen, helping Mommy make very special cookies. Imagine her surprise when she looked up and saw Mr. Weasel pass the window carrying a huge box. Can you guess what was in the box? Mommy guessed at once. Mr. Kind Weasel had bought another brand new carriage for Tiggy. It was just like the first one. When Tiggy saw it, she squeaked with delight. "Now I can have You can take Teddy for a walk, she said to Tracy. Poor Teddy has been missing his walks. Well, we'll both take Teddy out tomorrow, said Mommy. The next day, Tiggy and Mommy went shopping. When they came to the busy road, Mommy kept hold of Tiggy's hand, and Tiggy kept hold of her brand new carriage. She was glad Teddy was asleep. Now then, said Mommy, let's stop here and practice crossing the street. We shouldn't cross, said Tiggy, until we have made sure it's perfectly safe. That's my clever Tiggy, said Mom proudly. So what are things that you should do when you're crossing the street? You should stop. You should look both ways. So right and left. And then maybe look again right and left just to make sure. And then you want to make sure you're crossing at a safe spot so that people can see you if they do come up. And make sure you're visible. And make sure that you cross quickly and safely. And if you're at a crosswalk, walk on the crosswalk. What are some other things? What did Miss Amanda miss?